Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and being a producer of Wrestle Massacre as well as Inside Movies Galore, I am David Streggy, and welcome to Delusions of Grandeur. Enjoy the reviews. I certainly did.
Okay, Dave, that's it. Screw you and your college flunkies. I've had enough of this from you and from everyone else. I know what you guys are trying to do. Break me down, drive me out of the force. Well, it's going to take a hell of a lot more than a lame prank like this to get Curtis Mooney to throw in his badge, so fuck you! Over.
Did you miss me? I guess not.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Delusions of Grandeur. I am your host, David Streggy, and here I have another review for you, this time of a 2007 feature film that involves animation and adventure from director Kevin Munroe. It was filmed in 2007, and it is called TMNT. Now, I happen to have it on this 4-film thing. It's the last film in this set, and I actually happen to love that it's the flipper set. But I was totally disappointed in this film when I first saw it, because I was expecting live action, and instead we got crappy CGI and and instead of getting April O'Neil, we got Lara Croft, Tomb Raider. How the hell did she become a treasure hunter? In any case, let us begin with some of the characters behind, some of the voices behind the character. So we have Chris Evans playing voicing Casey, who evidently on the rise of the Silver Surfer as Human Torch, as well as in the first Fantastic Four in the Marvel universe. This is pre-Captain America times. He voices Casey. As Sarah Michelle Gellar is the voice of April O'Neil. We have Donatello being voiced by Mitchell Whitfield. Leonardo is voiced by James Arnold Taylor. Michelangelo is voiced by Mikey Kelly. Interesting that he's got this kind of a similar name to Michelangelo. And Raphael, otherwise known as the Night Watcher, is voiced by Nolan North. And we also have a character in here that I believe Lawrence Fishburne is the narrator of the story, and we also have Patrick Stewart as an entrepreneur philanthropist by the name of Winters, who is trying to track down 13 demons to send these gargoyle-ish creatures back to whatever dimension they came from. That his evidently family had brought into the world hundreds and hundreds of years ago in some famous battle. The only thing is, while he is trying to capture these 13 demons, the gargoyles that were supposedly his chief in command officers have decided that they have other plans. And so they end up kidnapping one of the turtles to somewhat, what is it, as collateral as one of the demons, even though they know it's not one of the demons, so that this does not happen. Now, in the very beginning of this film, all the turtles are separated, and Leonardo is supposedly the favorite of Splinter, and he's off on some sojourn journey. And in the very beginning, we get a character that seems to be trying to poach or try to steal something that April is actually trying to steal. That kind of looks like the lead head guard in Aladdin. So I feel like there's some rip-offs going on here. And not to say the, I swear to God, the animation in the 90s was a hell of a lot better. I loved their creatures. I don't like their design in here. For some reason, this movie has like a little bit more than a 5-star rating on IMDb. I don't get it. Why is there this like for this animation? I mean, April was definitely not Lara Croft. She was a newspaper reporter. She was not someone who went and collected treasures for some kind of a bounty or something like that, you know? I mean, she was always a newspaper reporter, and she was always a ditzy blonde, even though she had reddish brown hair. She added prettiness to the colorful caricature of and she was always the maiden in distress to me. She never fully knew ninja or ninjutsu or anything like that. Suddenly, now she's actually part of the team. She actually kicks ass, and I'm not sure whether I like that or not. I kind of liked her being the damsel in distress for some reason. I know that women are supposed to be strong and feisty and supposed to be our equals and whatnot, but I guess if you want that kind of equality in your hero woman, I guess that's up to you. But I kind of liked her just being the one that the turtles always had to save. Even though she was a very intelligent news woman, she was always being ransacked by the Foot Clan, and she didn't really know how to fight, at least in the original series and in the original movies themselves. I mean, maybe, just maybe, she might have been able to knock her purse into one of the ninjas at the time, but she certainly could not entirely defend herself with the punches that were thrown. But here we have an animation. To me, I like the storyline behind it, but I wasn't a fan of the animation. I am sorry. I guess it's up to you in the very end of what you entirely like. I mean, I guess there was a creature that kind of looked like Lilo and Stitch in there that was kind of cute. But other than that, I mean, the turtles never fully fought against each other. Neither. There was always some kind of equality. I mean, I know that Raphael, at least in the movies themselves, seemed to be kind of the loner of the group, but he certainly seemed to be kind of the more the loner, aggressive, angry out of the group, and I just wasn't a fan of um, them two fighting. And maybe I haven't seen the before um, crappy animation that I've heard about, and maybe I haven't seen after this, but I certainly remember the 1990s animation with such fondness and nostalgia. Um, I was just not an entire fan of this animation, and I'm sorry that I wasn't. Maybe it just missed a generation or whatnot, and maybe I just liked the look of the original animation. This just seemed kind of like if you took Picasso and mixed it with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It was just staccato, and some of the characters seemed like they were like some other characters that I've seen in Disney. I don't feel like this was an original work. Plus, it also has the stain of the Weinstein Company behind it. I mean, that is a weird relationship between Warner Brothers and the Weinstein Company. So that being said, I did kind of like seeing Patrick Stewart kind of playing like a somewhat of a villain, because you don't necessarily know whether the character that we see playing that rich guy who has all these things, and he's supposedly like thousands of years old, which his name is Winters. You don't necessarily know whether he's on the good side or the bad side. All you necessarily see is that he's in control of these gargoyle-ish creatures who evidently had turned to stone at one point in time. So I did like the look of the creatures, the demons that we saw. Those were positives. I mean, for animation, but I was not expecting an animation. I was expecting live action. I was expecting, some effort to be put into a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Not that unlike the later two films that we actually get. Even though I was somewhat disappointed with those two films too, but I shall get to that later. I know that this film was a disappointment, at least to me. Watching it again, I guess I have less anger towards it. I was trying to actually like it this time, but I just could not. For some reason, it was just not jiving with me, and at one point in time, I wanted to turn it off because it was boring. But that is me. Those are my feelings. And again, these are characters that were created by Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman. And I noticed that Peter Laird was actually an executive producer on this project. If I were him, I would have actually taken my name off of the project. It was just, I guess for the time, I guess at the time I remember people who were animation fans were fans of the film, but I was not. I was expecting what I was expecting, and I'm sorry that I have the thoughts that I do, but I was disappointed, to say the least. But in all honesty, you have to give it at least a once try. I do not discourage you from checking it out. There are those who are fans of this animation. I just am not, and for my own reasons. I hope that I've explained a few of them. There's just something that just doesn't jive with me. In any case, hopefully you enjoyed my description of this film. Like and subscribe to my page if you have not. Definitely check the film out in your own time, and let me know down in the comments whether you enjoyed this film or not. I did not. I will not recommend it for other people, but I wish you well in your sojourn and your journey into this film. And if you enjoy it, good for you. I cannot stand this film. In any case, enjoy the rest of your day, evening, or morning, wherever you are. I appreciate your time spent here on the page, and I will definitely have some more cool stuff for you in the future. So thank you so much, and enjoy.
You were good, kid, real good. But as long as I'm around, you'll always be second best, see?